this, chapter 21 and verse 5. In the Leviticus 20, we know this one we gonna deal with. We're gonna deal with the commandments of God. Watch this, read.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 21 and verse 5. They shall not make baldness upon their head.
Read.
Neither shall thou shave off the corners of their beard.
See that? That's a commandment, right? That's a commandment. So, are you doing that? Are you keeping that commandment? You sure?
I got a beard.
Why your head bald?
My hair's falling out.
Is that how you, but do you shave it?
I keep that, yeah.
You shave it, right? Bible say don't do it. Just let it grow how it grows. Now, hold on, wait. You can shave it down. But why you shave it according to your beard? That ain't how your beard grows. You got it cut like that. But I'm saying, this is my point. You coming up here to ask all these off the wall questions. Wait, you don't even understand the commandments of God. We dealing with the commandments of God. We have dealt with you before.
So look. So which one of God's commandments have I broken out of them 10 commandments?
Thou shalt not serve no other gods.
What God am I serving?
Give me that in Proverbs 3 and what's that? Proverbs 3 and 31. Give me that out of no person.
Yeah.
You serving another, when you do that, you serving another God. When you cut into your beard, you serving somebody else outside of God. You know who you serving? I'm gonna show you. Watch this, read.
The book of Proverbs.
Who told you to say no? Listen, this is what our people don't understand. On this earth, right now, in this present day, you either worshiping God or you worshiping a white man.
Bring it out.
It's one of the two. It ain't no in between. That's the influence in the earth, the white man. That's who taught everybody God. That's why everybody think Jesus white. You either worshiping one of the two. That's what they taught us to do. They took our God from us and taught us to worship them. That's why you shaving your beard. That's why you cutting in your beard like that. They taught you to do that. Watch this. Read.
Proverbs chapter 3, verse 31. Envy thou not the oppressor.
The Bible say don't envy the oppressor.
You go to the barber's book, bro, and they show you how they started lying.
Yeah, they did that. Why do you think we get razor bumps and all that type of stuff when we shave into our stuff? We get razor bumps back here and all that when we do that. Most of it because you probably treated it. But if you just cut into that like that, you won't get razor bumps because you're not supposed to do it. I don't get razor bumps when I just get a landing. But when I do that, you get razor bumps when you shave it too. Right? Hold on, watch this. One second. Read.
And choose none of his ways.
Read it again.
Envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways.
So the Bible says, don't envy your oppressor, and don't choose none of their ways. None of their ways. So when you say, what commandments you breaking, thou shalt not have no other gods before me. The white man, Satan, told you to do that. God didn't tell you to do that. So whoever got you shaving your beard like that, that's who you worship. God didn't give us, God didn't say do it. What's your question?
So you mean to tell me that God kicked Israel out of Jerusalem shaving their beard?
Yes.
That's what he kicked us out of.
Now, that wasn't solely what we got kicked out for, but that was one of the many things we was doing. We was going after the other nations. We was going after the other nations. We was going after the other nations. What you talking about? When you read,
are you gonna dare go to the Most High and tell him how many laws you keep? Where's the damn screenshot at? You and IUIC, you gonna go to the Most High and tell him about how many laws you keep when you don't even keep the law? What does it say in James, what we just read? Let's read it again. And this is what you guys forget. You need the grace and mercy, right? And you got to be of the elect, man. Just bottom line. James 2 and 10, for whosoever shall keep the whole law, yet offend in one point, he is guilty of all. So today, as it stands, Bishop Nate is guilty of the whole law. You broke all the commandments, Bishop Nate, by this one act. Getting your damn head lined up, your pride and your vainglory and running your mouth got you out there, man. You out there, you know. And you guys stay lined up. And I'm gonna use that as a thumbnail, Lord willing. Bishop Nate, super lined up. What a foolish thing to have done. So if you break one commandment, you're guilty of all. So how you gonna be saved? You need Yahweh Shai. You need that man to come, and when it's your time to be weighed.
But let's see what happens. Let's see if they know what they're doing. We'll find out. I'm the guinea pig, man. Hey, shalom, shalom. Most High Christ bless. We are at our first international Kenya barbershop taking place right now. Captain Benzion prophesying, giving the word right before the feast tonight at sundown. Bishop get the fresh cut.
First Kenyan cut.
First Kenyan cut. First
Sundown. Bishop get the fresh cut.
First Kenyan cut.
First Kenyan cut. First one.
Sundown, Bishop get the fresh cut. First Kenyan cut. First Kenyan cut. First one.
Sundown. Bishop get the fresh cut.
First Kenyan cut.
First Kenyan cut. First one. I think it's all right. I don't know. We'll see what the wife said.
Nah, you're a younger bishop. How you doing, young man?
So Lord's will, tonight is the feast. We're going to gather in unity on the Lord's Passover and break down bitter herbs and lamb. We got Captain Benzion prophesying over there.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 11, verse 9. And the hypocrite with his mouth destroyeth his neighbor, but through knowledge shall the just be delivered. Kol Holayim La, Abanawa Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai Bahashem Rekat Kodash. Double honor to the elder apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone who rule well. Salutations to the Akim out there on the highways and the byways. Salutations to the hopeful elect. Salutations to you speckled birds, you Israelite foreigners, and shalom to the Akwaf, sitting and listening in silence as the scriptures say to do so. Proverbs chapter 11, verse 9. An hypocrite with his mouth destroyeth his neighbor, but through knowledge shall the just be delivered. And that's what we see amongst these other camps, congregations, whatever you want to call them. We see a lot of hypocritical men judging and condemning those that basically they're doing the same thing. And as you see, man, a lot of these camps, they've sold out. They have received their constellation right now in this society, in this captivity. And for this Jake and IUIC to sit right here and to condemn and judge this man for something that everybody in their camp through the four corners of the earth, especially here in Babylon the Great, and their own leader does, is very hypocritical. Okay? And to literally, not focus on the actual questions that this guy is asking shows that these people don't have knowledge, man. They're just parrots. They don't research. They don't have their own spirit. They don't have their own way of delivery. They really don't believe at the end of the day, man. Okay? And this is a clear depiction of those that took a deal for a happy meal, as the beloved apostle Tahar stated, man. And that's the name of the lesson. And also, too, before we move on further, let me say this. Those of you that watch IUIC and watch our videos and have a problem with us reproving and rebuking them and correcting their nonsense and their bullshit, because the elect will not be led astray. The elect will not be led to darkness. Okay, you can't deceive the elect. I don't want to write this out. We are the elect. But this is part of our calling, that we must do these things amongst our nation, is to correct, reprove, and rebuke. So if you have a problem with that, you can just go about your business, unsubscribe, watch somebody else. Because as soon as I see a comment from one of you stupid, simple Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, okay, because you're not awoken, you're offended, and furthermore, the Lord's offended, man. I'm just going to block your ass and erase your comment. Proverbs 11 verse 9. An hypocrite with his mouth destroyeth his neighbor. So instead of this man that's putting himself in the steed of a prophet, a teacher, instead of him doing what's correct according to Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, and really be sincere and answer this man's concerns and his questions to feed him, you want to deflect and attack him. You want to get on a defense. You want to, pick something out that you see wrong with him, which is actually being done again in y'all congregation. IUIC members be lined up, beard, hair, and all, man. So for you to literally deflect, this shows the spirit is not dealing with y'all, man. Matter of fact, let's go here, man. Let's go to Yahweh Shai. Okay? Let's go to Yahweh Shai. You know, these are sellouts, man. These camps, man, really don't have any consideration, any sympathy, any, you know, any care for the elect, man. Or Salaki, for the hopeful elect. You know, you don't have any concern to make sure that the sheep get fed correctly, that the sheep have correct understanding, and amongst other things, man. And you know, it also states in the scriptures that we have to be concerned about how we feed the flock and how we teach this gospel, man. Because we don't want to err in any way, because Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai will destroy us. And also those that are being taught and receiving the information incorrectly and not through the power and spirit and words of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, that blood is on their hands, man. Okay, this is St. Matthew's chapter 7, starting off at verse 15. Beware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. And again, that's a lot of these camps, man. And again, you know, IUIC, Nate, he's only worried about, you know, stacking up revenue in this society. He's not worried about stacking up, you know, treasures in heaven. He's not worried about receiving that reward from Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, because if he was worried about receiving that reward from Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, it wouldn't be about a numbers game with him. It wouldn't be about, you know, we're here to build a nation, we're here to do this, we're here to do that. No, it's about the elect. And it's also about proclaiming and professing the true names, which Bishop Nate has broken it down thoroughly, man. Okay, which we always state and say, you know, that video that he did years ago was broken down very, very thoroughly, man. So for a man to literally go and break down the name Yahweh, why Yahweh Shai, that thoroughly and correctly, and then to go to this type of spirit, hey, you took a deal for a happy meal, man, because the reward you're getting right now is shit. Okay, because a McDonald's meal, whether it be a happy meal or an adult meal, is just shit covered with sprinkles and glitter. That's it. That's all. That's all America is. It's just a pile of shit and glitter and sprinkles with a few diamonds and gold sprinkles on top, man. That's all it is, man. And that's the type of reward that you sellouts want, man. Okay, verse 16: Ye shall know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes of thorns or figs of thistles? Even so, every good tree bringeth forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree bringeth forth evil fruit. A good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. Every tree that bringeth not forth good fruit is hewn down and cast into the fire. Wherefore, by their fruits ye shall know them. And again, you know, it's everything speaks for itself, man. We see who has good works and who has evil works by their fruit, by what they produce, their cause, their teachings, their preaching, what they're preaching. Okay? And you know, also too, having a 501c3 charter already automatically is stating and informing the true believers and the true worshipers that you sold out, that you want some type of recognition, if I'm saying that right, Salakia, acknowledgement, some type of glory. You want to be pedestalized in this kingdom. You want to have comfort and relaxation in this captivity, man. So again, you have received your constellation. So your fruits show forth what you're really about. Again, we don't hold nothing back. We give you the lamentations, the woes, the bitter, the sweet. You know, we comfort you with the scriptures. We give you the history. We prophesy, break down the prophecies. We give all the edification that we need to know to receive salvation. And we're not selfish. Okay, we're really sincere, compassionate, okay, merciful. And we really have desire to do this call vocation, this employment, this task, however you want to state it. This is actually what truly makes the real prophets happy. Is doing the bidding and the work of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. So those are going to produce the good fruits, but those are just worried about revenue and how many members they can get, your tithes and this and that. What is it? What did they do? A blitz, a land blitz, and all that other stuff. For what? When the scriptures clearly state that this place is going to be destroyed, man. You got GoFundMe accounts. You got super chats. You got all these things, again, to gain a different tax bracket here in this captivity. And again, that 501c3 charter gives you a tax exempt status, not only in your church, but also with your employment in this captivity in Babylon, man. You're able to be tax free with not only, again, your church, but also your plantation job. And also, too, you have standards that you have to do to show forth the government that you're doing something beneficial to your community with that funding. Okay. So let's continue, because again, we see the fruits, and that's why we expose them, man. Because a lot of these men from these other camps, they're all about getting paid. They're all about those FRNs. Okay, if you want to come to the Passover, get your tickets now, this and that, yada yada yada. Just like Genesis and Sakari, which they all do. IUSUPK. I'm not too sure about IUIC, but we know that they do fashion shows. All types of hip hop, rap music. Which we're not. Come on, Jake just want to do so much in this society, man. Because everything's a gimmick. Everything's, appeasing to the flesh. Okay? Because you're bringing the philosophies and the characteristics of the world into this truth. This is Micah chapter 3. And I'm going to start off at verse 9. Hear this, I pray you, ye heads of the house of Jacob, and princes of the house of Israel, that abhor judgment and pervert all equity. And that's what these camps do, man. Nobody else is speaking out, again, reproving, rebuking, bringing forth correct, balanced, discerned judgment, but GMS and the true affiliates of the like-minded brothers, man. And again, I'm not exalting GMS or any of the like-minded true affiliate brothers, but the work and the efforts and the evidence of the videos, the productions, the shows that we do show forth who is in agreement with the scriptures and who is also fearing Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, and also stacking their treasures in heaven and not taking a deal for a damn Happy Meal, a shit infested, maggot, fly infested with sprinkles and glitter meal. Because that's all this society is a clump of shit. And again, if you don't like me cussing, you don't like what I'm saying, please just unsubscribe, go watch somebody else. There's a lot of brothers you can be watching. Okay? Verse 10. They build up Zion with blood and Jerusalem with iniquity. And that's beautiful, man, because there's a lot of blood on their hands. Because they're handling and dealing the words of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai deceitfully. And they're keeping back their sword from reproving and rebuking and correcting and chastising those that are in error, and not directly speaking and breaking down these words to feed the flock and not lead them astray, to lead them to be judged, and to have them continuously be led in darkness, man. Okay? Because we're not building a nation right now. The Lord is not building our nation right now. The Lord is seeking, which he already knows, but he has us out here speaking the words, condemning, edifying, and warning. Okay, so the Lord is only concerned about his elect. Once this place is destroyed, we get those new bodies, the covenant's written within us, we come down with Yahweh Shai and everything else, then we'll start building our nation. Okay, that's when, the restoration of Israel, the restoration of the earth, everything be putting back in course how it's supposed to be. That's when things will truly be established. Okay? And that's why, again, we have to be careful how we preach and teach. Okay? So Micah chapter 3 verse 10, they build up Zion with blood and Jerusalem with iniquity. Because again, they're, basically, they have you going off, telling you the laws, the statutes, the commandments. That's all you hear is the laws, the statutes, the commandments. It's no grace period. It's no, Yahweh Shai. It's no, because, what you saying, the law, the statutes, and the commandments 24/7 and really, firmly about that, which is nothing wrong with preaching and teaching the law. We do too, but we also know that the law won't save us. If we were to be judged by the law, we would all be condemned. And that's where Yahweh Shai comes in. Yahweh Shai comes in a lot in our heritage and in this truth. And a lot of y'all that's in this truth don't understand how important Yahweh Shai is, man. Y'all truly don't understand the history of Yahweh Shai. How many times he's been here, all the positions he's had. Y'all don't understand Yahweh Shai, man. Okay? Because you have a lot of these camps that don't acknowledge Yahweh Shai at all. And some how you really should. Okay? Verse 11. Micah 3 verse 11. The heads thereof judge for reward. Okay, hit the super chat. Okay, hit the cash app. Okay, are we trying to go here? We need y'all to donate for this trip to Kenya. Okay, the heads thereof judge for reward, and the priests thereof teach for hire. And I remember when I first came into the truth, and of course, before when you come into the truth, you're watching different camps and everything else to see which one actually has the truth and which ones resonate with your spirit. I remember Zabak and HOY, which I've met Zabak. I've actually met him. I've actually seen him teach, which he's a very good teacher, and in person to see him teach, man. But it's a lot of things that he doesn't have understanding to, and it's a lot of things that hasn't been revealed to him. And I've said it respectfully, as a I don't want to write as a man of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, but as it says, a lot of our people are puffed up with pride. It's like a knowledge puffeth up, Salakia. But I remember him saying, watching the video, somebody said, you need to come to my city. I forgot exactly how they posted on the comment board, but he said, if you want me to come to your city, you need to fund me to come out there. You need to pay for me to get out there. Okay, and furthermore, it's really not that serious. You can watch on YouTube, the teachings and everything else, and for some brothers to be saying that if you have understanding and the knowledge and the wisdom, you should be out there teaching. Okay? Micah 3 verse 11, the heads thereof judge for reward, and the priests thereof teach for hire, and the prophets thereof divine for money. Okay? And also too, as the beloved elder apostle stated, and other elder bishops and elders, that Bishop Nate and General Yohana was charging for breakdowns. Okay, and I haven't seen that myself, but that testimony has been given a lot amongst the body in various lessons, here and there. Okay, so how freely given to you, freely shall you give, man. Again, by your fruits you shall know them, man. Okay. Yet will they learn. So yet will they lean upon Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai and say, is not Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai among us? None evil shall come upon us. And they believe that, man. Because a lot of these jakes are proud as hell. Bishop Nate, proud as hell. General Yohana, proud as hell. Bubble-Eye Blackfish, proud as hell. Okay? The butt plugger, Pegasus, proud as hell. That big ass kid, Deacon Akar, or Priest Akar, whatever the fuck he calls himself. And also that little boy, Hassad, proud as hell. Okay, nobody's never wrong. They're always right, and there's always something wrong with you. That's a lot of pride. And what does it say? Pride goeth before destruction, man. Okay? Because everybody want to be somebody, and everybody think they somebody. No, you ain't shit. And if you've been listening to me and watching me for a long time, I always tell you I ain't shit. Yahweh, why Yahweh Shai, they the shit. Okay, they're to be glorified. And I don't like you, Lord. I don't mean in the bad way. And they're the ones to be glorified, exalted, man. Okay, so for you to think anything of yourself, you deceive yourself, and that's scriptural, man. Okay, but let's continue, man, because we got some more precepts I'm gonna grab. You know, I wanted this to be short, but I knew daggone well this wasn't going to be short. So, you know, Lord willing, it's edifying. And Thawada to the beloved Zaquan Manat Zakba. He had sent me a video, and I had seen this video from another brother. I think the brother the Shar Dawada put this in the was it Shar Dawada? It was one of the Sharyim in the camp. I'm not sure if it was Shar Dawada or another brother put this in the chat. And what he said about that made me go straight to the beloved Zaquan Manat Zakba for his videos, man. His because he sent me a couple of clips. And, you know, the Lord, man, it's like the Lord is beautiful, man. Because we got clips and everything else of videos that we haven't done yet, man. But the Lord, you know, he will have us stack up all these clips and everything else, and then when he sees fit and he wants to, the lesson will be brought forth, man. Okay, period, man. And that's, you know, that's beautiful, man. Okay, this is St. Matthew chapter 15, and I'm gonna start off at verse 7. So verse 7: Ye hypocrites, well did Isaiah prophesy of you, saying, This people draweth nigh unto me with their mouth, and honoreth me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. Again, by their fruits ye shall know them, man. So they'll confess with their mouth, you know, we love the Lord, we fear Yahweh by Yahweh Shai, but y'all don't say the names, y'all don't reverence the names, y'all don't teach the names, y'all don't acknowledge the names. Okay, and that's not just for IUIC, it's for all these camps, man. You know, you got Sakari saying you don't have to reverence or bow the knee to Yahweh Shai. And, you know, I heard Pegasus, you know, that faggot ass nigga say that when Yahweh Shai come back, he's going to need a Levitical priest. Nigga, we all priests. Okay? The Levitical priesthood is all for all tribes, whether you believe it or not, man. Okay? Period, man. And that's another lesson for another time, man. Easily to be proved. Okay, but they say all these things, but, you know, through efforts and deeds and their work, it shows different, man. You know, you got this funny looking Alvin the Chipmunk Jake. Okay, yes, he looks like Alvin the Chipmunk, talking about this dude lining up his beard when your whole damn congregation goes to the barbershop and gets shaped up, man. Even your bishop does it. So that's, you know, dudes are hypocrites, man. Very hypocrites. Okay? You know, you got a daggone you know, you what is that? Doing a singles match, doing all types of wicked shit, man. You know, for feasts that's supposed to be a Solomon feast and supposed to be taken seriously, y'all celebrating and partying. You partying on the Sabbath, man. And also too, you keeping the Sabbath wrong. Friday to Saturday sundown is what the you-wish people do, man. Okay, again, man, they took a deal for a Happy Meal, man. These are the roles of sellouts, man. Because everybody wants comfort in this society. We were sent here to be punished, man. To be corrected, to be chastised. To understand why we deserved it. Why we went off. Why the Lord is doing this, man. Not to be disobedient and more rebellious, man. St. Matthew 15 verse 8. But in vain, okay, useless, producing no cause, man. Look at that word vain. And a brother can put it up on the comment board if you would like, man. Okay? But in vain they do worship me, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men. That's what it is, man. And that's what IUI does, man. They teaching the doctrines of Bishop Nate. Okay, they have a precept packet. And that's all also been proven and showing, man. They got a precept packet, man. Again, these are parrots. They don't do no research. They don't study. They don't have their own mind. They're zombies, man. Okay? The Lord has not quickeneth or quickened, however you want to state it. And you can look at that word. Because that's what the Lord has done to the true believers, the true worshipers, the true prophets have been quickened. And I advise you to look it up. Okay? But these jakes, man, they zombies, man. Verse 10. And he called the multitude, and that's what we do, man. We call the multitude when we reprove and rebuke, man. So you can be informed. You can be warned on who not to follow. Who's going off and who's not sincere and who's not worried about your well-being, man. Okay, as it also states in, I believe, 1 Timothy 4, somewhere in that chapter, you know, if you keep hold to the doctrine, you shall also save yourself and those that hear you, man. We really believe that, man. We are really concerned and really sympathetic to the hopeful elect, man. Okay? Because this is our true family. You know, this is a family reunion coming back together with the true remnant, man. We are literally being brought back together from all corners of the earth and especially from Babylon the Great, man. And he called the multitude and said unto them, Hear and understand, not that which goeth. Shalakia. Yeah, I can read that. Not that which goeth into the mouth defileth a man, but that which cometh out of the mouth, this defileth a man. And you know, that's also goes into what? You know, that filthy communication. Again, breaking down the scriptures wrong. Not teaching the doctrine of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shah, but teaching the doctrine of man. Okay, I'm gonna jump down to verse 14, because this is what they are. So this is St. Matthew's 15, verse 14. Let them alone, they be blind leaders of the blind, and if the blind lead the blind, both shall fall into the ditch. And that's what we see, man. That's what we see. Because again, you have the true prophets out here warning, reproving, rebuking. And then you have these people that watch these people, whether it be IUIC, ISUPK, Watchmen for Israel, HOI, GOCC, Sakari, Genesis, all these other camps that are out here, Sons of Thunder, whatever, man. Okay? These people take heed because they choose the ones that they want to be deceived by. They take heed to false lips because their teachings give them approval to still be a part and partake of the world. They're not being renewed and transformed by their mind, and their spirit is not being sanctified and cleansed every day. And they're also not applying these words of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shah to their everyday life. They're hypocrites. Proverbs 17 verse 4. A wicked doer, okay, because that's what these people are. They're wicked. Okay, because you have a lot of Israelites that know they're Israelites that proclaim that they fear the Lord, they reverence Him, they acknowledge the doctrine, they keep the law to the best of their ability, this and that and this. But really, they're wicked as hell. You have a lot of Israelites that's in the truth that are mentally and spiritually fucked up. Proverbs 17 verse 4. A wicked doer giveth heed to false lips. So what this dude right here is false. See, he walking up, listening to what this dude's saying from IUIC, and little do he know that they whole camp get their head lined up. And little does he know, they don't answer questions directly. They're deceitful. They deflect. You can go up and ask them a sincere and really be humble and really want to be edified. And you ask them a question, and they'll ask you, where's your fringes? Why are you not keeping the laws of the Lord? And you have a sincere damn question that you really want to know. You're really concerned because you want to learn. But yet, you know, again, you know, they have a lot of blood on their hands, man. A lot of blood on their hands, man. Okay? And that's why you have a lot of bug outs, 2/3, always talking about IUIC, because IUIC is wicked. I don't care if I don't care what y'all say. If you don't like it, I don't give a shit. They wicked, man. Okay? A wicked doer giveth heed to false lips, and a liar giveth ear to a naughty tongue. And that's all these people, man, because all these speakers lies. They're not speaking the truth. And again, this dude right here is speaking lies, being deceitful. Okay, because if he was really being truthful and sincere, you wouldn't be deflecting. You would ask, what's your question, brother? and you would answer his question directly. Okay, but again, it's all about entertainment. It's all about, oh, he cut him, he this and that. Oh man, go ahead, captain or officer, bishop. Man, come on, man. But this is what people like. You Israelites love entertainment. You love lies. You cleave on the lies. What does it say in Isaiah 30? Prophesied the lies, prophesied deceits, cause the Holy One from Israel. Cause the Holy One from Israel to cease from us, man. So you Israelites want to be told lies. You don't want to change. You're comfortable in this society. And that's why your ass is going to be destroyed, man. Okay, because again, a lot of these camps have received their constellation, especially to have a 501c3 charter, to take a deal for a Happy Meal, because that's all you get from me, so is a Happy Meal. Okay, a Happy Meal in that McDonald's Happy Meal box is just a clump of shit with glitter and sprinkles. Okay, and a cup of piss. That's it. A clump of shit with glitter and sprinkles and a cup of warm piss. That's all you get. And you think you living it up. This is Luke chapter 6, starting off at verse 24. But woe unto you that are rich, for ye have received your constellation. So Bishop Nate got money. Okay, we already know that the Pegasus, he doing pretty well for himself. All the donations and super chats y'all giving him. And we know General Yohana got money. Okay, all these, camp heads, camp leaders that y'all worship. You've seen multiple videos of Bishop Nathaniel coming out on a horse. One time he was standing on two of his bishops' back and had a strap on their neck coming out for the Passover. I said, yeah, faster, nigga, faster. You see women crying and shit. Oh my God, it's the bishop. Like, come on, man. And what do they call GMS mainly? Bums. The bum camp. Because they got money, they got comfort. But woe unto you that are rich, for ye have received your consolation. So you receive your benefits. You receive your reward here. You didn't want to wait for what's going to be given to us from and by Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, because what we're going to get from the Lord is above and beyond. It's up here. We're going to have rest. We're going to be above all nations. They're going to be serving us. Like, man, it's a lot of things I can name, but I'm not, man. Like, it's verse 25. Woe unto you that are full. Okay, and a lot of y'all are full of yourselves, man. Because a lot of y'all think that y'all the shit. A lot of y'all think that y'all somebody. Everybody want to be somebody. Luke 6, verse 25. Woe unto you that are full, for ye shall hunger. Okay, so you got everything that you desire. Any type of food you want. You can go on vacation. You got a nice crib, etc. Got money in the bank. You can go take vacations, all that type of stuff. Woe unto you that laugh now. So you laughing at the real prophets. You being deceitful. Speaking lies against the real prophets, calling the real prophets grapists, saying that we want 9, 10, 8-year-old girls. And amongst other things too. Okay, and that's not just the Israelites that's in the truth. That's also the bug outs too. Condemning the real prophets, because one person started it and everybody go with it, man. That's slander, man, and that's false accusations, man. And all y'all gonna have to pay for that, man. What is that? Proverbs 19 verse 9. You're gonna be punished for that, man. Okay. Woe unto you that laugh now, for ye shall mourn and weep. So everything is sweet right now. Everything is all shits and giggles, as they say. But you're going to mourn and you're going to weep, and we're going to be laughing. Because we're the ones, Lord willing, Abanawaratazah, that's going to be preserved, that's going to be protected, that's going to be having a merry heart. Okay, a contrite spirit. Okay, that Job chapter 5. All right. Verse 26, woe unto you. So woe goes into destruction, death, judgment, man. And that's what's going to be brought forth to you reprobates, to you sellouts, man. Woe unto you when all men shall speak well of you For so did their fathers to the false prophets. Because everybody's speaking well of IUIC. Everybody's speaking well of ISPK. Everybody's speaking well of GOCC. Everybody's speaking well of HOI. Everybody's speaking well of Watchmen for Israel. Everybody's speaking well of Sakari, Genesis, all these other camps. But all these Negroes are false prophets. And you may have some sincere brothers in there that's just, not fully activated and awoke by Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Followers too, and all, that follow all these camps. And the Lord does things the way he sees fit. And the Lord can do whatever the hell he wants. We believe to the Spirit that there are, some true worshipers, some true hopeful elect amongst all these camps. Okay? But everybody speaks well of false prophets. That's really not prophesying. That's really not breaking down things thoroughly and correctly. The only ones that's really prophesying is who? Who are the ones that come to, and again, not being prideful or exalting, but who are the ones that always come to GMS with prophecy questions and other things because they feel whoever they're watching hasn't given them the correct understanding, man. And as we always stay, especially the beloved elder Manata Zakba, stay over there with them. Stop coming asking us questions about certain things that you don't have understanding to. You can't be hopping from camp to camp. You either stick with one camp that you believe have the truth, stay with them, and we'll see at the end who has it. We'll see. Okay? Well, let's continue. Because again, man, in order for them to have this relaxation, this comfortability, what do they have to do? They have to, they have to take that deal for a Happy Meal to sell out to the damn devil. So let's jump to 1 Maccabees. Because, there's nothing new under the sun, man. These are the same vessels coming back. These are the same vessels coming back from the days of old, man. Everybody comes back in their lot. All right? So this is 1 Maccabees chapter 1, verse 11. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men who persuade many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen. Okay, and again, that covenant, is that 501c3 charter. Okay, those secret meetings that they had. You teach this doctrine. You can't speak the names. You can't say that, the white man's the Edomites. Matter of fact, you got to say we're going to be saved. We're going to be, the doctrine continuously changes. You can tell when a lot of these camps have been, when they sell out, when they take in the bag, the doctrine changes. Esau ain't the white man. Oh yeah, one body. It used to be one body in Yahushua. It used to be Esau's the devil. Now Esau's the so-called black man. Now you're supposed to love the so-called white man, and now anybody can come to their church. Okay, and that's another example. You got them teaching so much wicked shit. The Yahushua didn't do miracles, all types of stuff, man. Okay, and again, it was one body in Yahushua. Now it's just one body. Okay, the name of Yahushua is not being professed, if I'm not mistaken. It's a lot of you just see, man. Again, by their fruits you shall know them, because they made a covenant with the heathen, man. The heathen said, you can keep all this money. I'm gonna pay you this lump sum, and you get this 501c3 charter. You can keep, as long as you stick to the plan, you can have comfortability. Okay. Covenant with the heathen that are round about us, for since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. And Jake don't want to, go through the affliction, the hard time. Okay, the judgments. Jake want to have, again, a piece of the pie, man. Okay, but a lot of you Israelites are hypocrites, man. Especially, you IUIC members, man. The law. And again, we teach the law, we acknowledge it, we rehearse it to the best of our ability, but we know it's not going to save us. Okay? And we're not going to be harsh, rude, unbearable towards those that are sincere and come up to the camp and really have a sincere question and really have some concerns and need to be edified, man. a lot of you IUIC cats are just assholes, man. Okay, but I'm matter of fact, we're gonna close it out here, man. Cause again, y'all hypocrites, man. Y'all hypocrites, man. The law, this and that. But y'all breaking the law left and right, man. You know, you telling men they can only have one wife. You gotta get a document, a marriage certificate to the state to have Esau in your damn business. Where in the hell was that stated in our culture? Well, you know, the families wrote up a contract. They wrote up a contract for certain things. Like, what if the husband died? Instead of his land, his property going to, you know, one of his brothers or something like that, he had to write something out for his wife to take it. It had to be some type of evidence. Did you think about that? What about, you know, the kids? If he had kids, he wanted to divide it up into a certain way. That had to be documented. Okay? This is Romans chapter 2. And I'm going to start off at verse 16. In the day when the Most High shall judge the secrets of men by Yahushua HaMashiach according to the gospel, because, you know, a lot of these secrets are being revealed. A lot of cats are being exposed. You know, just like the Pegasus, he said all that stuff a week before he got exposed about GMS, and look, you got exposed as being a faggot, somebody that's getting pegged, paying for prostitutes, giving them thousands and thousands of dollars. Okay, so the Lord is going to expose a lot of you cats, man. And a lot of you cats is going to be exposed before that harsh, grievous judgment is brought forth. Verse 17, Romans 2, verse 17. Behold, thou art called a Jew, and restest in the law, and makest thy boast of the Most High, and knowest his will, and approvest the things that are more excellent, being instructed out of the law. Okay, again, which IUIC is a prime example of it. And, you know, other camps too, man. You know, where's your fringes? If you don't have fringes on, the Lord's going to kill you. If you don't wear a skirt, the Lord's going to kill you, sis. You know, a lot of lying and shit, man. When, you know, Deuteronomy 22 verse 5, you know, it says you're an abomination to the Lord. It doesn't say nothing about the Lord killing you. Okay? Now, you know, it's just various reasons why, you know, a woman should wear something to keep her reproductive open to have oxygen flow, you know, for various reasons. Because that part is supposed to breathe in a woman's body. Okay, but that's another lesson for another time. Verse 19, Romans 2, verse 19. And art confident that thyself art a guide of the blind, a light of the which are in darkness. And that's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a guide of the blind, you know, those that are coming in to be taught, those that need to be edified, and to, you know, hopefully have Yahweh Shem Yahushua take them out of darkness by teaching them correctly. You know, again, you know, being patient with those that seek learning, man. Verse 20, an instructor of the foolish, because, you know, before you came into this truth, you were foolish because you cleaved on and acknowledged the customs and the philosophies of the world. And which is, as it says in 1 Corinthians, the knowledge and wisdom of this world is foolishness to the Most High. Okay, so with you being awoken and activated, you get the true knowledge, the wisdom, but the Lord has to unlock the understanding in your mind. Okay, an instructor of the foolish, a teacher of babes, which has the form of knowledge and of the truth in the law. And, you know, a lot of these cats, I'll say maybe 3/4, or maybe shit. Matter of fact, I'll just say a lot of them. I ain't gonna give a percentage or a number. I'll just say a lot of them are babes. A lot of these cats in IUIC does not need to be teaching. Real talk. Okay, real talk. A lot of them don't, man. Again, because they have no mind of themselves. All they have is that precept packet that they go by, man. They know how to deflect. They know how to go on offense, but they don't know how to sincerely teach, sincerely edify. Okay? Verse 21. Thou therefore which teachest another, teachest not thyself? Thou that preachest a man should not steal, does thy steal? So again, how are you going to tell somebody else they getting lined up when right here your bishop, the one who runs and started IUIC, is getting lined up on camera, on fucking camera? Everybody in the barbershop about to get lined up. He probably next, because he said the bishop is getting the first cut. So they all next. Come on, man. You hypocrites, man. Thou that makest thy boast of the law, through breaking the law, dishonorest thou the Most High. And it's not only that, y'all don't acknowledge the name. The Lord said that you have to acknowledge Yahushua. Okay, not only his teachings, but also his name. And that's in the Torah. Okay? Period. And the Lord said that he would send Yahushua, and he would teach his teachings. He would teach what is told to him to teach. Which Yahushua also stated in St. John chapter 7 and other chapters, other books. That Yahushua made it clear that his teachings are the Heavenly Father's teaching. That he's come to say what the Heavenly Father told him to say, man. It's a lot of laws. And furthermore, you boasting in the law is literally saying that Yahushua's crucifixion wasn't I can't think of it roughly paraphrase, but wasn't acceptable or needed. To be, clear and short, to paraphrase. That's a lot of things, man, because a lot of y'all go off, man. Okay, verse 23 again. Romans 2, verse 23. Thou makest thy boast of the law. Through breaking the law, dishonorest thou the Most High. Okay, and again, man, it's clear as day that we see it, man. Okay, because it's always the laws, the statutes, the commandments. What about faith? What about faith? Doesn't it state in Hebrews 11 verse 6, without faith is it impossible to please him? In the book of 1 Maccabees, I believe verses 1 to 2 or 1 to 3, isn't Matthias talking about the faith of our ancestors? Doesn't Yahushua talk about faith? Doesn't Paul talk about faith? Doesn't Paul talk about the grace period that a lot of you Israelites are taking for a fucking joke? You took a deal for a happy meal. This is the role of a sellout. So I don't want Ratazah. I hope and I pray that this is edifying, uplifting, and informative to the true sincere Aki and Wa Akwaf. So with that, I'm just going to say, Call Holayim La. Abanawa Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai Bahashim Rakak Kwadash Watha Wada Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai Bahashim Rakak Kwadash, for putting the spirit on me, my elder apostles, elder bishops, elders, brothers on down, for doing these epistles to enlighten you, to inform you, to edify you, and uplift you through the power and spirit and words of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai. May the blessing and election and protection be upon you and your household. I don't want Ratazah until the next one. So with that, I'm just going to say, Shalom.